How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a World War I rifle tier list. And up first, we got the SMLE. This is Great War British rifle. The British made, in my opinion, the most superior battle rifle for World War I. This is the best bolt action, in my opinion. It's super smooth. You can run it super fast with the with your middle finger as the trigger. This is the best rifle for World War I, in my opinion. They were reliable. They are pretty handy. They're not super long compared to like the Gewehr 98s and all that. And they are just amazing, amazing rifles. You pick it up, you feel the quality. It's a great rifle. You can hold, they have 10 round mags, another advantage over everyone else other than like the weird trench variants of the Gewehr 98s with like the 20 round mags or whatever they had. But that's a weird variant. This is a standard infantry rifle. So I'm gonna have to give this an S tier, and this is just, like I said, I mean, the Germans, the guys were shooting them so fast, the Germans thought they were running into every British soldier had a full auto, they thought. I think that was a quote by a German officer. And this is the early pattern. I have the magazine cutoff, which is just like an old kind of technology that's basically forgotten. And I also have volley sights right here and there, which is another form of early combat. If you get enough guys shooting like this, you might hit someone, but probably not. Also, you have stripper clip guides. It takes 2 stripper clips of 5 rounds, and this is the best. S tier on the SMLE. Next up, we have the American 1917 Enfield. This is another amazing rifle. This is great bolt action. You have a 6 round magazine capacity. One of the nicest sight pictures of all of the Great War. Amazing, amazing rifle. Not too much to say about it. This is another amazing rifle. I'm gonna have to give this an S tier because of the fact that this just, it's a bulky rifle. Like I said, a great sight picture, and it's a great feel. It's heavier though. I will say that it's definitely heavier than some of the other rifles, which is not, makes it not the top of the S tier lot, but definitely great rifle. Have to give it an S tier. You know, amazing American craftsmanship, and I'm sure it's American bias, but still amazing craftsmanship. While we're at it, I'll talk about the 1903 Springfield. I can't rank them as high because they had some other issues than these didn't, and basically I just think these are superior. They found these were on the front lines more often than the 1903s, and the difference is, you know, wild. Like the just craftsmanship, I guess. The 1903 was it was a Mauser pattern rifle, so they were actually paying Germany while shooting Germany, if that makes any sense. So that's another issue. But the 1903s, I know the early ones had some issues with heat treatment, and that was causing them to, some of them, to blow up. I don't know like how many you have blown up, but I know that it's a very big issue, and I, as a collector that shoots, not interested at all. So I can't even rank that near the top. I'm gonna have to give that a B tier just off of that fact. But I'm sure people will be very mad at that, but I'm sorry. I mean, it's just an opinion. I can't be shooting something that'll blow up, in my opinion. But S tier for the 1917 and B tier for the 1903 Springfields. Next up, we have the Ross Rifle Mark II. This is another amazing rifle. I can't rank it nearly as high though, because there's a lot of issues with these. So first off, it's a straight pull, more unique, but still very reliable and very fast. You have a magazine drop feature on these, which just drops the magazine for some reason. Never really seen it before. You have a magazine cutoff right here. So a lot of good features, a lot of cool features, but just not nearly as good as the prior two. Either way, this is a great rifle. This is Canada made. This is not a frontline-ish. I mean, they were probably more auxiliary units and artillery, so like backline, but still they were on the Western Front and they were used, but these had issues. They had very tight tolerances, so like mud or anything, so anything trench-wise, if that gets in the action, it's gonna not go well. It's not gonna shoot, maybe it won't chamber, maybe it won't eject. I heard these had issues ejecting, and that was improved on the Mark III. But either way, great sight picture, very, very accurate rifles. That's why I love these things. They're just target guns. They're amazing target guns. But when it comes to military service, not nearly as good. Either way, I'm gonna give this a B tier, because even though it's one of my favorites, it's just a great action, very cool, lot of unique features, a lot of cool features. It has a lot of trench issues, and with that being said, you can't, also no stripper clips. You gotta hand load each round on these, which is another issue, and having a 5-round capacity +1 with the magazine cutoff, it's not really enough to be viable without a stripper clip. So these gotta get a B tier. And while I'm at it, the Ross Rifle Mark IIIs I think are even worse. They said that it was the most improved design. I can't say that, because they had the sight back here, which is another, you know, step up, like the 1917s with the longer sight picture. But the issue with them is the forks almost on the locking lugs. It's like a vertical locking lug system. It's very odd looking. When mud and stuff would get in them, they would start jamming up, and then when soldiers have something jammed, they're gonna mortar it open with their foot. And then when you do that and it's messed up because of those, they're like claws. There's like 4 claws on one side of the lugs and 3 on the other, I believe. It shears a claw off, you are so screwed. It's not gonna chamber, it's probably not gonna even run. Like, the more messed up it is the more messed up. And then guess what? You don't have a rifle, you have a stick. So very bad. Also, if you incorrectly assembled the bolts on them, which was not hard to do. I mean, if you were inexperienced, guess what? Those locking lugs aren't locked right, so when you shoot, bang, that action's coming right back at you. And if you're close, that can take an eye out. And that's really, really bad, obviously. And with that being said, I'm gonna have to give them a C tier, or I'll give them a C at the best, maybe even a D. I don't know, they're just not good. No good. But these are better, so that's good. Next up, we got the Mosin M91. If you haven't noticed, I'm doing all the Allied powers first, or the Triple Entente, I believe it's called. And we're just gonna knock them out of the way, and then we'll get to the Central powers. But Mosin M91. This is about as rugged as it gets, and I do love this rifle for some reason. It's just, it did what it needed to do. You have stripper clips, 5 rounds, shove them in, and then you're good to go. That's about it. I mean, these are about as rugged you can get with a bolt action. They're not nearly as smooth as some other ones, but you know what? They didn't need to be. It's a war gun. It worked great, and you can't blame the Russians. Like, this is a great war gun. There's nothing else to it. I mean, the sling's good. You got easy, if you do have, say, rim lock or something, that's another issue with these. These have rim lock. That's about the only thing bringing them down, but you can get them out with that. This is a great rifle. I can't quite give it S tier, because I think people would freak the heck out if I put a Mosin at S tier, but I gotta give it A tier. This is an amazing, amazing rifle, and for what it was designed for, those soldiers didn't need an amazing rifle. If you've noticed, Russia basically wins by numbers every single time they fight. So guess what? They got a cheap, great rifle to give them. That's what they gave them, and they did a good job with it. So Mosin M91 is an A tier. Next up, we got the Berthier MLE M16. This is a great rifle. I really can't deny it. This is a amazing, amazing rifle. This is the French rifle of World War I, and they did a great job. They don't have stripper clips, they have end blocks. You had a 3-rounder for the early ones, the 1907s/15s, and you had a 5-rounder for the MLE M16s. And basically, they had a mud hatch, which is another improvement. They had about the worst sight picture I've ever seen in my life. They are the thickest sights you've ever seen, ever. That's about the worst thing on these. But great rifle. You got a very smooth, just very unique looking stock, cavalry ring, great rifle. But still not quite as good as some of the others. And just because of its length and its weight, I'm gonna have to give it I'll give it a B tier, just because of those factors. Also, another factor is the hideous sights. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna hit anything with that. It's really hard. They're so thick. That's about the only downside. But MLE M16 long rifle, B tier. Now, the other issue, there's another one that I don't have, is the Lebel 1886. That is a tube fed, I think they held 7 or 8 of 8mm Lebel. I can't rank that as high as this because it's going to take a lot longer to open the bolt, push the thing down, shove in 8 rounds, and then do some weird thing and then get your last round in. No, I don't think that's very viable. So they cannot be as high as this. I'm going to have to give that a C tier just because of that fact. They did have better sights, I know, but a tube-fed rifle in World War I's not great. But regardless, this is a B tier, Lebel 1886, C tier, and moving on to the next. So now we got the the Berthier MLE M16 carbine. Same rifle as the long one, except it's a carbine, much more handy, especially in trench close quarters combat. Reliable rifle, very oddly shaped bolt handle, but who cares? Great rifle though. This is same thing as the Berthier long rifle, the MLE M16 long rifle, except this is a carbine, and this is going to be higher than the long rifle just because of its size. It's much more handy. You can shoulder it easier. It's an easier rifle to work with. So MLE M16 carbine is got to be a, what did I give the other one? A B. So this has got to be an A tier. Great French design and ingenious design with the stripper clip capability of you could load a 3-rounder in this and it would work, and very ingenious. So this is a tier. Next up, we have the Carcano M91 TS, or Troupe Speciale. I'm not great with Italian pronunciation, so whatever. Anyway, this cannot rank as high as some of the others. Same thing with the Berthiers. End blocks, they're just not as viable as a stripper clip. Reloading is much harder with them. It's just much more difficult, and that's why the Berthiers rank low too. I forgot to mention that, but it's just not as easy. I mean, to reload one of these, say you want a partial reload, you gotta press a button, pull this out, get a new clip, push it in. Instead of a Mauser pattern or any of the other non-end blocks, you just load some more rounds in. It's not that hard, but for all purposes, these cannot rank that high. And plus, the Carcanos, they're light, handy carbines. I'll give them that. They have, I think, the worst sight picture of all the Great War. That bad. It's that bad. The Berthiers have a bad one with the thick front sights, but this is just the most stupid. The way you have to line these sights up to hit something at 100 yards is ridiculous. It's horrific. There's a few videos out there. I know the Koba did one. You have to basically put the front sight at the bottom of the V, and then you want to put your target above the top of the V. So you're completely aiming under it. It's stupid. But these are cool rifles. I like these rifles. 6.5 Carcano's cool. Another issue I have with these is the ammo. The real stuff, the correct diameter stuff, is so much more expensive. It's like $50 a box compared to PPU being $28. And I mean, you're not really getting accuracy out of these things with PPU at all. They just kind of shoot wherever they want. But the real stuff, I'm sure you would. I haven't shot it yet though. But for that reason, this is gonna be really low. This has got to be a D tier, and it's just because of the fact that the sight picture's that bad. It's that bad, and the end block really holding it back. The sights aren't bad, like the adjustability, I mean, but also you don't have your bayonet correctly on it or directly on it like the Cavalry's. But I'm gonna have to give this a D tier. As sad as that is. So the Carcano M91 Cavalry Carbine is gonna rank a little higher. It's same thing as the TS, same thing as the just M91 long rifle, but Cavalry Carbine. So you got your sling on the side, it sits flush on your back, and you got a bayonet right on the rifle. So it makes it 20 times easier and better to use. So this is just a better design in my opinion than the TS, even though they each had their reasons for being produced, but I like this rifle better. I do. It looks, in my opinion, cooler, but it's still held back by the same issues the other one was. The M blocks, they're not comparable to stripper clips. Stripper clips are just much more superior. But regardless, it's a cool rifle. I like it. I'll give this a C tier just because the bayonet's directly on it. Makes it a little easier, but it's still held back by the issues I mentioned before with the sight picture and the end blocks. But I'm also going to rank, I do not have a long rifle, but I'll rank that while we're at it. The long rifle is going to be a D tier. It's much longer, it's the same exact thing. I'm sure it's the same sight picture, and it's a lot, I mean, it's probably, I don't know if it's double this size, but it's way longer. So, got a much longer rifle, and it's not as practical. There's nothing else to it. And then you put a bayonet on it, it's even more longer. So, D tier on the M91 long rifle. This is a C tier, and the TS is also a D tier. So those are our Carcanos, and now the Allied powers, or the Triple Entente, are done. So now we'll move on to the Central Powers. Next up, we got the Gewehr 98. Off the bat, this is an S tier. It's the most recognizable rifle, other than the SMLE, I believe, in my opinion. This is the most iconic. The Mauser action has been copied countless numbers of times, and this is the rifle that started it. You see it in every other Mauser pattern, and guess what? They all started with this. So this has got to be an S tier. Stripper clips, 5 rounds. This is an original German. You got 5 rounds just like that, and then you run your bolt. The Mauser action, it has influenced countless numbers of countries to copy it, and there's a reason why. Plus, I mean, look at the sight. That's the coolest looking sight I think ever. The roller coasters are just really ridiculously cool. The only downside to these, and a lot of the rifles actually, but if they all have it, it's not really a downside. The Battle Zero, or the lowest option, is ungodly high. This is at 400 yards, I believe, or 400 meters. So that's your lowest setting. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, you're gonna have to aim pretty low to, not pretty low, but regardless, it's just a harder thing to target shoot. The Ross, actually, you can set for 100. I know that for a fact because I have it at it. But this is still S-tier rifle, you know, good in mud, good in any condition you put it through, and it's just a great shooting Mauser and the most iconic and copied bolt action that is on this list. So, best, this has got to be an S-tier. Next up, we got the Gewehr 88 05. This is a German-made but Ottoman supplied. So this would have been used by the Ottoman Empire during World War I, and they were supplied a pretty good gun. I really like this thing. A lot of people hate them and think they blow up, they think this and that. Those are the same people that buy RTI examples usually and then expect top quality. I'm kind of going to contradict myself later in the video, but this is a great built rifle, and quality wise, if you don't buy a high quality thing, you shouldn't really expect much, in my opinion. Like, that's just my opinion though. So this is a great rifle though. It's not as good as the Gewehr 98, but you got stripper clips. That was one of the upgrades that the 05s had. The originals were M blocks. You know how my thoughts are on them. Stripper clips, so that's a plus, and very smooth bolt. I mean, super smooth, and just a very cool looking rifle. Really cool barrel jacket. Just a really cool rifle. So this is going to be a. Now, I didn't mention this, but loading it single load is a little difficult. I feel like when I try, the rounds slide around in the action instead of pressing them in like you can on the double stacked mags. They just slide around a lot more. It's a lot more difficult. So for that reason, and for the I mean, there's really no other reason. That's my only downside to that. And I mean, there's statements about some of these weren't as. There's a lot of upgrades that went into these. You can check it out on my full video. There's, you know, all these different little markings, and basically if you don't have all of them, it's probably not going to be as great, and that's might be a reason people don't like them. But for those reasons, since they're not all the same, I'll give it a B tier. But it's still a great. This is going to be a very high B tier, almost an A tier. Next up, the Steyr M95. Straight pull, a little bit tighter than the Ross, hands down, but they also got updated a lot. So these are great rifles. There's not much else to say about them. They are amazing, amazing rifles. That straight pull is very fast. Only downside is this thing right here, the end block. But great rifles. You got a nice sling on it. This one's in very good condition. So for the Steyr, Austro-Hungarian, got flip-up sights, very adjustable, but the downsides are it's very long, which all the long rifles are about the same length. The shorter ones, the shorter of the long, I'd say, are the SMLE and the 1917, and that's about it. The others are basically all the same length. So this is a long rifle. That's a downside in terms of close quarters, but long distance engagements, the carbines still don't really suffer too far. I don't think the distances went in World War I were that far. Like, it was a lot of just trench fighting. So long rifle, that's the only thing this has got going against it, and the fact that it's an M block. But with that being said, this has got to be a I gotta give it an A tier. It's gonna be a lower A, but it's still an A tier, and I just have to give it to it. It's a great rifle. So the Steyr M95 carbine, same thing, same action, just short, and that's the plus. Got a side mount sling, that's also helpful, and just slightly better rifle in my opinion. It's shorter, it's handier in trench conditions, and still the downside of the M blocks, which these hold 5 by the way, and they're good rifles. I mean, this is still an A tier. I wouldn't give it an S because it's just not to the top qualities of the rest, but it's got a good sight picture, just kind of standard. A lot of them have very similar, but I'll give this a high A tier because of the fact that it is what it is. It's just a better, shorter Steyr M95, and that's why it's ranked higher, or at least somewhat higher. Next up, got the Swiss G11 long rifle, and I know this is not technically involved in World War I, but that's why I'm going into the neutral factions, or the neutral powers. So basically, this is going to be pretty high on the list. These are super, super accurate rifles, and they're great rifles. They're great actions. I mean, this is slightly longer. The K11 carbine would have a little bit of an edge on it, but I don't have one of them right now. But I'm going to say this has got to be a B tier, very high B tier, just because it's not technically involved, so it's kind of unfair. Not really unfair though, because it's still the same era, but these had a lot of pluses. The stripper clips are very cool. They're cardboard, so they were designed to be used and thrown away, and I know most are anyway, but it's just a cool design feature, at least in my opinion. So there's not much wrong with this thing. Very unique safety setup, but B tier also because it's super long. This is very, very long rifle. This is about the longest, I think. This and the Berthier, the long one, and B tier. Next up, we have the Danish Krag. Very, very cool rifle. I mean, the Americans copied it very early on. They had the, I don't know what model number it is, but the American Krag, 3040 Krag, I believe it was chambered in. That is a really cool rifle, and I'd like to have one. But the Danish, this would have been their service rifle if they were involved. This is another neutral power, but this is a great rifle. It's also very long. It's got a really cool barrel jacket on it. It's got cool sights. Just a really cool rifle, and plus it's got one of the uniquest or most unique loading mechanisms, the loading gate, or whatever you want to call it, and just a great rifle. And like I said, the only thing that held the other one back is the fact that it wasn't involved. I'll say the same about this, and another thing holding this back is the ammo. I can't shoot this thing. There's literally, I don't think there's any ammo available for it. No one's making it. The only ammo that is available, I think, is original stuff, at least to my knowledge. So if anyone has any knowledge on this and where I can get ammo, please tell me, because I'd love to shoot this thing. This thing is, it's gorgeous, it's really, really cool, and just a very, very cool war rifle, even though it wasn't involved. But regardless, I'll give this, what did I give? I think I gave the Swiss a B. So I'll give this a C tier, very high C tier. Actually, yeah, I'll give it a very high C tier. I've never shot it, so I don't know how it shoots, but very high C tier on the Danish Krag, and it deserves it. It deserves higher, actually. Alright, last one of the video. This is a Spanish M16, I believe, carbine. I hate this gun. This is my least favorite thing, and that's why I said I was going to contradict myself later, because this is probably a very low quality one, and there's probably way better ones, but Personally, this is the cheapest feeling. This is worse than the Carcano. Not that the Carcanos are that bad. This is on a realm of its own. This is F tier. This is the worst thing I've handled in this whole video. I've shot it. I don't like it at all. It feels cheap. Listen to it. I mean, that's with the action locked. Look at how much it's slopped there is. I mean, then you open it and it's like 20 times worse. I just don't like this rifle. So the Spanish model 1916 or whatever it's called, definitely an F tier. And if I get another one, I'll come back and I'll say I was wrong and that it's a higher tier, it's a better rifle. But as of right now, I hate this thing. And if maybe, also I didn't buy this, let me tell you that. This is inherited. If I bought one, I would have bought a much nicer one, because I already told you why I don't like to buy cheap rifles and then give them a horrible rap. The only ones that kind of are about what people call them are the Carcanos. People do really talk bad on them though. They're not that bad, but this is really bad in my opinion. So F tier, hands down. It's probably the only F tier on the list, but whatever. Not a good gun. Don't like it at all. Here is the full tier list of the World War I rifles. I switched the Swiss and the Gewehr 88 around just because the Swiss is that nice of a rifle and that accurate. But let me know if you guys agree. Tell me if you disagree. Let me know down in the comments. We're going full circle here. This is what I started with. This is my pick for any World War I rifle. I'm choosing this every single time. It is my favorite 10-round mag. I already gave you all my reasons earlier, but thank you guys for watching. If you like this type of content, let me know. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you guys.